Everything all right?
No. See this stack of comics here, Brian? This is my latest dirge into the DC universe. And I'm not happy, so I've taken to the fan forums to argue against DC fanboys.
There has to be something better you can do with your time.
Yeah, isn't that your pile of dirty laundry?
Yeah, I can get to that later. Right now, arguing the superiority of Marvel Comics and convincing the world of the superiority of Marvel Comics is far more productive. Cara, you have a sword.
Oh, this? Practicing for a LARP next weekend.
But Dan, it's been my experience that proving Marvel is better than DC or vice versa is a huge waste of time.
See this comic right on top here, Brian? It retconned its own origin last week. That's unacceptable. And something must be done.
You know, maybe Dan has a point. Men like Dan feel comics should have a certain standard, and if comic companies can't adhere to that, they have a right to be a little miffed.
Yeah, but we're dealing in a medium of entertainment here that has spandex and women with unrealistic proportions and guys who should have gotten cancer instead of superpowers.
Jeff, you know, you really disappoint me. I can remember a time when your outlook on comics was very different.
Hi, I'm Dan. What's your name?
Jeffrey.
What are you reading?
Batman. What are you reading?
Spider-Man.
I really like Batman's utility belt.
I really like Mary Jane.
You know what? Me too. Me too.
Life was so much simpler back then.
Well, that was one hell of an origin story.
That's not how they met.
Of course it was.
What's wrong?
Some bigger kid asked me if he could read my comic book, and what did I know? He ripped it up and pushed me down.
It's payback time.
You guys don't actually remember how you met, do you?
I remember a playground, and that's about it.
If memory serves.
Do you know I hate it when you look over my shoulder? The color scheme is all wrong. It's a work in progress.
Needs more explosions.
Who is this guy?
I am Templar!
All right, everyone step away from the window. It's obvious none of you can remember how you met.
You're right. But I guess it doesn't really matter so long as Brian admits that DC Comics are inferior to Marvel.
Fat chance, Templar.
None of this really matters. Mainstream comics are poisoning creativity. DC's always just trying to keep up with Marvel, and Marvel's just another arm of the Disney Corporation.
Here we go. You know, why don't you just get down off your high horse and pick a side, R. Crumb?
Yeah, Jeff, you're totally the agnostic of the comic world.
Yeah, more or less, just much more snotty.
Independent comics are where it's at. They're the soul of the comics community. They're down to earth, they've got original stories, they're emotionally relevant, they're folksy.
Comics should not be folksy.
You can't hold it against me because I like a comic with substance.
Yes, well, looks like Swamp Thing 69 has taken issue with some of my comments. Looks like he's cruising for a classic Templar forum smackdown.
Hey, Jones, what's your origin story?
Walking home late one night, I was cornered by a group of of elderly gang members, the blue-haired ballbusters they were called. The big one pinned me down with his walker, while another took my wallet. After tossing a chocolate-covered prune, I was able to break free. As I raced down the alleyway, I noticed a single door. They were closing in, so I busted down the door to the chemical factory and slipped inside. The blue-haired ballbusters followed me inside and cornered me on the catwalk. I decided to take my chances and jump, but I soon found myself swimming in a vat of yellow goo. I felt a burning and tingling sensation, and I knew the wolf hairs in my clothes were fusing together with my DNA. From that day forward, I was known as the Goo Wolf, a teenage mutant from hell. When the moon is full, I needlessly slaughter the elderly, howling at the moon on a non-stop mission to reclaim what was taken from me. Ow!
What about you, Cara? What's your origin story?
Just go with it.
As a young girl, I loved exploring the outdoors. On a Saturday afternoon, you could always find me at the creek near my childhood home. One day, as I was collecting tadpoles, I noticed a flash of light. When the smoke cleared, there's a meteor fragment with an unearthly glow about it. Being a naive little girl, I ran up and grabbed the meteor, tucking it neatly into my fanny pack. Later that night, I heard a voice coming from inside my head. It was the meteor. It was sentient, and it bestowed upon me the powers of the gods. Super sight, predator-like camouflage, an endless supply of ninja stars made from the sentient alien metal called Toby. As the years passed, I perfected my training. When I turned 18, I decided it was time to share my powers with the world. I crafted a costume of lace, Kevlar, and spandex. Whenever trouble rears its head, I need simply don my enchanted fanny pack and take to the tops of trees, creek basins, light posts, and municipal buildings to rain down justice on all evildoers.
Your future in improv is secure.
That's the dumbest story I've ever heard. Who wants to read a comic about a sexy vixen in spandex throwing ninja stars?
This is weird.
Which part? Dan dry humping his pillow or us watching him sleep?
No, Dan having feelings for Cara?
I'm not too concerned about that. I could watch this all night, though.
La-bump, la-bum-zump, 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 bum-zump, la-bump, la-bum-zump, 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 bum-zump, la-bump.
Comic geeks.
La-bum-zump,
The geeks that read the comic books.
la-bump,
Comic geeks.
la-bum-zump,
The geeks that love the comic books.
la-bump,
Comic geeks.
la-bum-zump,
The geeks that buy the comic books. Comic geeks. The geeks that collect the comic books. Comic geeks. 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 Comic geeks.
La-bum-zump, la-bum-zump, la-bum-zump,
Comic geeks.
La-bum-zump, la-bum-zump, la-bum-zump,
Comic geeks.
La-bum-zump, la-bum-zump, la-bum-zump,
Comic geeks.
La-bum-zump, 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 la-bum-zump,